Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and keep watching more details. The bold and the beautiful spoilers. Katie catches Brooke cheating with Bill walks in on major Ridge betrayal. The bold and the beautiful B&V. Spoilers reveal that Brooke Logan, Catherine Kelly Lang, may ultimately surrender to temptation with Bill Spencer, Don Diamond. There's always going to be a powerful pull between Bill and Brooke, so that may come back into play soon enough. Brooke is a huge part of why Katie Logan, Heather Tom, was unwilling to take Bill back. Despite Katie's lingering love for Bill and his desire to reunite their family, she just can't trust that he truly wants her over her sister. Katie feels like Bill and Brooke might be together if her relationship with Ridge Forrester, Thorsten Kaye, weren't standing in the way. Since Brooke is on the verge of clashing with Ridge big time, that could push her back in Bill's direction. It looks like Ridge will throw his support behind Steffy Forrester, Jacqueline Myth-Finswood, after she cuts Hope for the future. Hope Logan, Annika Noel, is Brooke's daughter, so you can bet Brooke will be offended over Ridge backing Steffy up, especially if Steffy wants Hope completely fired. Whatever the case, Brooke may get frustrated with Ridge and vent to Bill soon after. It could lead to Brooke hitting the sheets with Bill as a way to cope with all the Forrester chaos. Brooke and Bill aren't known for having incredible willpower around each other, especially when the plot calls for a good dose of cheating. If Bill and Brooke do kick off a new cheating chapter, it could be Katie who walks in and discovers it. Katie might decide she's willing to give Bill one more chance after all, only to find Brooke scantily clad with him during or after a private romp. This might fully close the door on Bill's reunion attempts with Katie and leave her thinking she was right to worry about his forever bond with Brooke. Katie might also end up with some shocking updates for Ridge if she feels obligated to spill the betrayal news. Bottom line, B&B's been offering up some warning signs about Bill and Brooke reconnecting passionately, so we'll bring you more predictions on how that might go down. Katie Logan had finally found a sense of peace, something rare and fragile in her life in Los Angeles. Her relationship with Carter was steady, and the past turmoil between her, Brooke, and Bill felt like a closed chapter, or so she believed. But as she walked into Forrester Creations one fateful afternoon, she had no idea that her world was about to turn upside down again. Brooke had been getting close to Bill recently. Katie noticed it, but brushed it off as nothing serious. Brooke had promised her that she was done with Bill, and Katie wanted to believe that her sister wouldn't break her trust again. Bill was a charmer, a man who could reignite feelings without trying, but Katie felt that he, too, had moved on, especially after her heart-to-heart with him about boundaries and respect. That afternoon, Katie had an unusual feeling gnawing at her, a sense of dread she couldn't shake. She couldn't pinpoint why she felt it. Maybe it was the way Brooke seemed preoccupied lately, or maybe it was the way Bill avoided looking her in the eye. She decided to go to Forrester Creations to check in on Brooke and get a feel for what was happening. It was unlike her to be so suspicious, but old wounds were hard to ignore. When Katie arrived, she heard Brooke's voice coming from Ridge's office, and she instinctively paused outside. She never intended to eavesdrop, but something in her gut told her not to enter just yet. What she overheard sent a chill down her spine. "Bill, we can't keep doing this," Brooke whispered, her voice tinged with both excitement and regret. "If Ridge finds out—" "He won't, Brooke," Bill responded confidently. "Ridge doesn't know us like we know each other. You belong with me. We both know it. This whatever we have, it's real. Why fight it?" Katie's heart raced. The words seemed to echo in her ears, growing louder and louder as her anger and pain surged. She tried to tell herself she'd misheard, but when she peeked through the door, there was no mistaking what she saw. Bill's hands were wrapped around Brooke, their faces close, too close, locked in a moment that spoke volumes about their rekindled passion. It wasn't just a friendly embrace, it was a betrayal. Katy couldn't stand it any longer. She pushed the door open, and the startled look on Brooke and Bill's faces confirmed everything. Bill stepped back, guilt flashing in his eyes, while Brooke's face crumpled with the shame of being caught. "How could you?" Katy's voice shook, a mix of rage and heartbreak spilling out with each word. "After everything we've been through, after all the promises you made, Brooke." "Katy, wait." Brooke began, her hands raised in a gesture that seemed both pleading and defensive. "No," Katy snapped, cutting her off. "There's nothing you can say that I haven't heard before. You said you were done with him, Brooke. You said that I could trust you again. And you." She turned to Bill, her eyes burning. "You said you cared about me, that you wanted to respect my boundaries." All of that was a lie, wasn't it? Bill struggled to find his words, his usual confident demeanor shattered. "Katy, this isn't what it looks like." Katy's laugh was hollow. "Isn't it? Because it looks like the same old betrayal, the same pattern you two can't seem to break. You think this is love. It's just you two clinging to something toxic, something that's already ruined us all once before." Brooke reached out, tears streaming down her face. "Katy, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean for this to happen. I never wanted to hurt you." Katy stepped back, out of her reach. "Don't touch me. I don't want to hear your excuses, Brooke, and I don't want your apologies. They mean nothing now." Before either of them could respond, the door swung open again, and Ridge entered, oblivious to the chaos he was walking into. He looked around, confusion creasing his brow as he took in the tension filling the room. "What's going on here?" he asked, his eyes moving between the three of them, lingering on Brooke, whose guilt was impossible to ignore. Katy's gaze flickered toward Ridge, a bitter smile twisting her lips. "Ask your wife, Ridge. Ask her what she's been doing with my ex-husband behind your back." Ridge's eyes widened as he turned to Brooke. "Is this true, Brooke? Are you seeing Bill again?" Brooke's silence was all the confirmation he needed. Ridge clenched his jaw, his hands balling into fists, as he took a step back from her, as though the distance might somehow lessen the sting of betrayal. "Unbelievable," he muttered, shaking his head. "You told me you were done with Bill, that he was out of your life. How many times are you going to make a fool of me, Brooke?" Brooke's voice was barely a whisper. "Ridge, I never meant for you to find out like this." "Oh, so it's just the way I found out that's the problem." Ridge's voice was laced with sarcasm and anger. "Not the fact that you went behind my back, again, with the same man who has always been a threat to our relationship." Katy felt a strange satisfaction in seeing Ridge confront Brooke. For once, she wasn't alone in her hurt. She shared a glance with Ridge, a silent understanding passing between them. They had both been wronged by the two people they loved the most, and in that moment they found an unlikely ally in each other's pain. "Maybe the two of you deserve each other," Katy said coldly, looking from Bill to Brooke. "I hope you're happy with what you've done, because you've destroyed any chance of trust between us, Brooke. And Bill, don't think for a second I'll forgive you for this." With that, she walked out, leaving Brooke and Bill standing there, shell-shocked and remorseful, while Ridge followed, not sparing them another glance. Outside, Katy leaned against the wall, fighting back tears. Ridge approached her, his expression softening as he reached out to place a comforting hand on her shoulder. In that small gesture, she felt a flicker of comfort, a reminder that she wasn't alone in her devastation. "You deserved better than this, Katy," Ridge said quietly. "So did you," she replied, managing a sad smile. "Maybe we both need to rethink who we trust." Ridge nodded, his jaw still tight with the hurt that lingered beneath his stoic expression. Maybe it's time we both let go of people who don't respect us enough to be loyal. Katie looked up at him, feeling the first spark of hope that perhaps in time she could move on from this betrayal. But for now, she let herself feel the full weight of her heartbreak, knowing that it was necessary before she could truly begin to heal.